Welcome paid writers to another video. I'm Christy Rice from PaidWrite.com, and today I want to talk about freelancing your freelance writing career into high gear, because I wrote a blog post on this, and we'll pop over and look at it. It's right here on the PaidWrite site. And I realized that I talked a lot about actually, pitching and landing assignments and, hunting down editors and that kind of thing. But I didn't do a very good job of explaining the actual concept behind your freelance writing career into high gear. So if you'd like to think of it this way, the actual title of this blog post could have easily been Pitch Your Freelance Writing Career into High Gear. And it's great whether you're starting out and you're a new freelance blogger, or if you're trying to break into a new niche, whether that's like a specialty format that you want to write, or if it's an actual subject that you want to write about. And here's how it works. When you are applying either through job boards or for a contributor position, or you're pitching an article idea, editors and hiring managers generally want to see at least 3 samples of your work before they make that decision. They usually want it right in the email that you send to them when you contact them. Now, these can be comparable. I've used samples to show that my stuff's highly, clickable, highly shareable. But this can be either to show that you can do research. You can write something that's heavily researched and research-based. It can show that, you've tackled a format, like, you put together a roundup or you write listicles, and those don't necessarily have to be on the same subject. You can still use those samples to highlight your ability. But you can also include super targeted samples, which are not only on the same subject as the position you're applying for, or the, article that you're pitching, but they're also in the same format. And guess which gets really good results. Yeah, the idea here is that, if you want to write about health as a subject niche, you want to be able to include samples that are going to impress those editors. And to get those samples, you are going to pitch articles that would impress those editors to other publications, so that then later on, because you're pretty much reverse engineering your portfolio, you're deciding on what subject you want to write about, or what specific writing format you want to specialize in, and then you are going out there and building a portfolio and these samples that will get you the assignments that will land you work in this field, that will help you identify yourself as a subject matter expert to these editors. That's the main goal, and pitching is the best way for you to do that. You can actually guide your freelance career by doing this. You can target these contributor positions by pitching articles to other publications that will look amazing when you send that email and say, I'd really like to write for your website on a consistent basis. Here are my samples. So that's what we're doing. We're reverse engineering your portfolio to get you hired for the kind of writing you actually want to do. Now, when you're a beginner, it can be a little bit more difficult because, it's the catch-22 of writing, trying to get samples when you don't have any samples. Of course, you can write samples, and I'm talking when you're writing these samples, they need to knock, it can't just be that you have the samples. They need to be good, and they need to impress those editors that you're sending over there to look at them. So you can go ahead and assign yourself these samples and publish them on your blog, or link to them in your portfolio wherever they are published. But you can also, and if we click down here under Make Money Writing, and then we go to Writing Markets and down, you can also look for markets that are targeted, that are open to beginning writers, but are also in your subject or format, whatever your writing goals are, whatever you want your niche to be. And you don't necessarily have to starve while you do this. I mean, if we scroll down, you can see that a lot of these pay. A lot of them do. But instead of just, I'm going to, you know, write about horses for this one, and history for this one, and homeschooling for this one. You want to decide, I mean, you don't want to necessarily marry your niche before you've, you know, actually launched your writing career, but you do want to have an idea what subjects and what you're actually going to enjoy writing. And you can change this, and you can, you know, gather new samples as you decide you want to write about something new. That is always possible. But instead of just writing about anything and everything, you can use this strategy to actually build the portfolio that will get you hired. So instead of sending cold emails with no writing clips, or, you know, using content mills to pay the bills, or sending out pitches with no clips, you know, where you're sending it out and saying, well, you know, I've never been published, but I'd sure like to write for you. Instead of doing that, start with these beginner markets and start building up those samples that are going to get you hired and that are going to help you move up, you know, from the less, you know, the entry level publications and clear up to publications that, you know, are dream worthy. And it is completely possible. You know, your biggest strategy for getting there with your freelance career is to pitch. So I suggest you learn how to pitch, you learn how to pitch well, and then once you get those assignments, knock them out of the park. So hold on. I gotta get my little slide going here. So, of course, if you found any of this useful, you know, like the video. I'd love it if you subscribed. As you can see, there's also the blog. Feel free to pop over there and subscribe. Got a ton of freebies. And if you have any comments or questions, go ahead and pop them down in the comments. Of course, I'm answer anybody. You can even email me, Christy@PaidWrite.com.